My name is Leonne Sherr, and I am, I've spent years saying I'm already gonna mess this up, not mess it up, but I'm always already gonna create a shift. I always say I'm a life coach, but I am a leader who is dedicated to guiding change makers, and that is in the parenting space. I believe that if we can have parents learn how to be less reactive and more calm and responsive, then we can have a new generation of children who will learn those skills because kind of like what you in your chapter 7 habit creation comes from monkey see monkey do, right?
Yeah.
Um, and our children, right, we're all sponges, we're energy sponges, and we learn by what we're exposed to. So, my goal is to help parents become more calm and responsive, to have more tools on board to navigate all that's coming at us and all that we have so that our children learn how to navigate through all of this with a kind of skill that we didn't have on board.
Nice. I love it. Awesome. And I want to ask you, what got you into that? Like, what gave you the passion to go that direction?
We're always looking for, like, well, not all of us, but many of us are looking for ways to make things better, right? I was a single mom doing life and trying to do it all. And I had those in the early days screaming at my children because I needed them to help me comply with the outside world. I had, I, there was so much coming at me and so much responsibility from the outside that I was holding them responsible for keeping up with me and the outside world. And as a single parent, that was a lot. And in that, I was super reactive. I spent a lot of time shouting and not a lot of time listening or showing my children how to deal with life under pressure because I didn't know. I didn't know how to do it. So when I decided to become a coach, coaching felt like a superpower to me when I learned what coaches do, helping people unpack and put their lives back together. I'm like, yes, it's always been a superpower of mine. And so when I first decided to become a coach, I wanted to help people in transitions. I wanted to help new moms, high school students navigating college, college students navigating their new life, and military coming home. Because all of those are huge identity shifts. And then I thought about my own life. I'd been a new mom, but I hadn't gone through any of those other things. My life was untraditional. You don't know, but my life was untraditional. So I did everything backwards. I got married, had kids, then went to school, and so um, I realized that the leadership that needed to shift was at home, was inside of us. And it was the modeling that needed to happen at home in that beautiful space that we are all trying to create for our families and the legacy that we're trying to create. So that's where that came from for me.
I love it.
Um, hmm.
That's awesome. I want to ask you too, like, one, respect to you as you've gone through and navigated your journey and supporting others and navigating theirs. There was something that said, and don't let me put words in your mouth by any means, but what I'm hearing is like, I need something different, and then you did something about it.
Right.
Like, where was that thing where you're like, you know what, I want this change, I'm going in this direction?
I don't know who said it. Probably a million people in a million different ways, but nobody's coming.
Yes.
Nobody's coming. Like, the perfect relationship, a new partner, a new house, a new car. None of those things are going to fix it unless you look at it and figure out what's going on inside of you. And so nobody's coming. Nobody's responsible for my actions or my energy or what's going on inside of me. So that's what happened inside of me is
Mhm.
what do I need to actually do and stop looking for because I actually remember, I think I was maybe 19 or 20, sitting in my house, yeah, early 20s, and sitting in my house with my two small children, not much money, not really sure I was going to pay the rent, and just wishing that some gorgeous, wealthy person would come in and swoop in and just come in and save me and my boys.
Yeah.
And I remember actually going, that is the stupidest thought ever. Who even put that in your head? And I think it was somewhere there, while I was rocking my now 35-year-old son and, playing with my now almost 40-year-old son. I have four of those boys. And I'm married. But I didn't find my knight in shining armor. Who I found was my partner to walk beside me, which was so much better. So anyway, back to how did I know? One of the other things that happens is we tend to put that picture of what we want to achieve up like a vision board and then get frustrated when it's not already there. And so I knew that there were a lot of steps that I needed to take, but it needed to happen inside of me. So outside, it might not look any different, but I was growing in my own strength on the inside. And what is it, Toni Morrison? The book that if you need to read the book, write it, something like that, paraphrasing, because that's just, you have to create what you need if you can't find it. And so that's what I did bit by bit. And then once it started feeling good, I started sharing it. And once what I was sharing was making changes for other people, I decided to share it bigger. And then it was
Mhm.
really helping other people. I decided, oh, I need some credentials. So I went and got those.
Yeah.
Um, and now I want to share it even bigger because with just a few tweaks and a few tools, people can get a new kind of perspective so that they can start their own journey.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
kind
it's
of in a
super powerful.
nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll also you did it for yourself and then you
Hmm.
supported others in doing it.
Yeah.
And I look at like there's no more powerful credential than that. Like you actually went through the thing. You said, I want something different. You did it. You supported others in doing it. And I do want to thank you for being on the podcast because you're like spreading that message out even more. You're
Thank
doing
you for having me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And it's cool. It's cool to watch you as you're leading people on their journey. And I want to ask the question like if you could give someone like let's say someone who's never met you before, what's the one message that you would want them to hear out of any message?
It's so funny, but it's going to even sound trite,
Mhm.
but you already know what you need to do. That's the message. You just need to check in and find out who you're being now and I think it was Amy, um, just recently said something, member of the Moxie tribe said, who do you need to be to create the life that you want? And I feel like that's an incredible question, right? Who do you need to be? And are you being that person? We all know the steps that we need to take. We get frustrated. Also, best piece of advice is don't do it alone. Call a friend, If you need therapy, get a therapist. If you need to work some stuff out, do it, but don't sleep on it. Don't wait. I think that's the biggest thing. I had to walk myself through it, Cliff, but I think, yeah, don't wait. Just start. Start right now, today. What do you need to do to be 1% better tomorrow than you are today? What is it?
I love it.
Is it putting on your shoes? Is it making a dinner and sitting down together? I don't know what it is, but whatever that one thing is for you, just do it. It'll feel amazing. So, yeah,
I love that. I
don't
love that.
wait.
Have Have you ever heard of be do have?
Yes, but I would love for you to walk me through it.
So be do have, it really, it goes back to the monkey see, monkey do. And if we want something, well, who do we have to be? I mean, that's what you were talking about, is like, okay,
Mhm.
who do I have to be? How do I have to show up? And then when you know who you have to be and you embody that, then you do it. You take whatever action that you're looking to take, and then you have it because you're doing the actions necessary to becoming the person that you want to become. And as I navigate the journey, the biggest lesson that I've learned is everyone's story matters. Like, all of
Yeah.
our stories matter.
I think I'm still learning that. I think I'm still learning that. I still struggle with sharing my story. And I want to hear everybody else's story, but I think even now, I think we're still on the journey, right? I didn't mean to cut you off because
Oh, you're
I
good.
want you to finish, but
Yeah.
um everybody's story does matter, but I tend to hold back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tend to hold back and I'm trying to get better. Like, oh, nobody wants to hear that. Oh, that's not good. And then you share just a snippet of your story and it just creates a transformation moment for somebody else. And they're like, thank you so much for whatever component helped them in that moment, whether it was your vulnerability, a word you used, or the whole thing
Yeah.
of, thank God somebody had it worse than me. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter if it creates a transformation for somebody else. Mm.
Absolutely. And I also want to say, you said trying to get better. You're not trying. You're literally doing it right now. So like, and there's there's a term in marketing. Have you ever heard WIIF?
I have not.
Okay, so that stands for what's in it for me. Yeah, WIIFM. What's in it for me? And
Yeah.
what I've learned on my journey is, if I share my story has to embody what they want their story to be. So my story is really just in service of them. And when I look at it like that, now I can say, okay, what parts do they need to hear to move themselves forward, to grow into the responsive parent that they're looking for? And ultimately, I go, you know what? I believe, and I can be considered an optimist. Everyone's doing the best that they can with the tools that they got.
Yes. I love that. And so I read The Fighter's Formula, and thank
Mhm.
you for writing that. There's some
Yeah.
incredible tools in there. And so just as a side thing, anyone who hasn't read Cliff's book, go get it, read it. It is full of incredible tools, um, foundational things. And, so I really appreciated that. The other thing is, I wanted to ask you, how do you like, what is it? Because you said, what's in it for me as a marketing term. And
Mhm.
that requires you as an entrepreneur, that requires you to think of your ideal avatar, not that your avatars out there, your people, but
Mhm.
we, you know, to actually speak to the actual person who you envision needs to hear this story. Is that how you decide what they need to hear? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, yeah. So the way I decide what a person needs to hear is also what I need to hear. And so I talk about alignment. Everything comes down to alignment for me. Even when I connected with you, I wanted to make sure there was some alignment. And so I looked at your profile, looked at who you were, what you did, why you did it, because to me, true leadership is clarity. That's all it is getting really,
Mhm.
really clear. And we're always navigating clarity too, because me here and me 90 days from now, well, that person's going to see 90 days worth of information. They're going to have 90 days worth of more communication. They're going to have, so we're always looking for clarity. And clarity to me means alignment.
Mm, I love that. And I think that that is where we're aligned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, well, you know, and you asked me before, like, what's the first bit of advice that I would say to some a parent who was coming at me? Because
Mhm.
sometimes they're at me, they're, oh, you know. And and the first thing I'll say is, you know, breathe. Hey, let's check out where you are. Um, because I'm here. I've got you. I'm holding space for you. I'm not responsible for you, but I will listen and I will sit with you and you can feed off of my energy, which is calm and confident. And usually that's really helpful.
Mhm.
Secondly, one of the first things that we do is, I don't know if you've seen, but I have a planner system. I have a time management system that I actually designed for myself.
Mhm.
I designed it for myself because time management is where a lot of our chaos lives. A lot of where we can see where we're out of alignment because we're just doing. And
Mhm.
this is, we, I built this planner system as an entrepreneur. I needed it as an entrepreneur. I'm an empty nester. So it was really the entrepreneur's heart that needed this time management system. And then I realized that was gold for parents. And so this is the first stage of actually understanding where you're out of alignment. And so you know, everybody has a planner. Well, not everybody has a planner, but we all have self-help books, we have planners, we have journals, we have calendars that we don't look at, we have shelf help books, lots of them.
Mhm.
And so I needed to figure out a way to help and guide people to creating a habit. And I loved your habit creation system. Is I needed to show how
Yeah.
I use it. So I created um, a weekly reset where we all sit down live on video from all over the world and we plan out our weeks. But one of the ways that we do it to keep ourselves aligned is we break our calendars into categories. What do you
Mm.
put on your calendar? I'm just going to put you on the spot. What
Yeah.
typically goes on your calendar
Yeah. So
when you're using
I
it? Do
use
you keep one?
I
Yes.
use a Trello board specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a checklist, and I also have, so they're declarations. And what's interesting, because I go, oh, we're ran on emotions. We're emotional. If we're feeling an emotional way, we will act in that way. If we're
Mhm.
feeling a negative emotional way, we will act in that way. And
Sure.
so I have a set of things that I say. Um, I say I'm a champion and I am amplified. I'm strong in mind and flow with intention. I'm strong in heart and love what I do. I'm strong in skill and use my gifts to serve. Wealth flows to me with ease. I'm a champion of champions. And I point, if I'm by myself, I point at myself and say, I have a championship mind. If I'm with my family members, we all point at each other and say, you have a championship mind. And it
I
just
love
gets our day started. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. More people need to do that because that sort of that manifestation, affirmation, energy shift. I mean, it is just amplifying, igniting energy, not
Yeah.
only in yourself, but in all in your body. And that's incredible.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that skill.
Yeah. And what I've learned as I navigated it, and you get this at such a high level, it's an internal game. Like it's an internal game. And I didn't realize most people don't know that. Now, us in the coaching space and audience, on those listening and leaders, we
Mhm.
get that. Most of the world doesn't. And it took me some time to actually realize, like, oh, they don't know that there's an internal game that's going on. So if you see the world negatively, your brain's
Yeah.
gonna find all sorts of patterns to why it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and throw some tools. And sometimes it doesn't work. Like sometimes we just need to like recognize, oh, wow, I am completely fatigued. I need to do all of those other things. So um a Trello board, I don't actually know what it is. Is that an electronic
Yeah. So it's
system?
like it's an app and
Mhm.
you can use it on your phone or on the laptop. And what it is, it's literally like you can create little boards and put different things with on the board. And so I have like my stories that I want to say. I have my 30-second pitch. I have my North Star because I go, my North Star is so important because what I support people in is having alignment, navigation, and clarity. When they have those three
Yes.
things, they can take a step. And so I support people in getting those three things. And what I noticed, we have hopes, dreams, desires, goals. We have all those things. And sometimes it gets beat out of people. And sometimes people have never been asked the question to even remember what they wanted in the first place. They kind of keep
Yes.
their goal by themselves and hidden. And I want people to speak out what they want to achieve, what they want to become. So like a parent who's looking to respond instead of react, there's that space. I'll call it that ugly space, but it's not ugly. It's actually beautiful. It's that space where you can say, this is what I have and I don't want it. And that's okay. Just start there.
Mhm.
Say what you don't
Yes,
want, and then you can take an action.
exactly. But and I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary. And um the average parent who is going through this, like, I need to do some personal development, but I don't have time. I've got my full-time job, I've got the kids, I've got soccer, I've got football, we've got travel sports, we've got I don't even know what I'm making for dinner, and we've got now the holidays are coming, and that is the energy that's coming out of that person who knows, can you just put your shoes on? That parent is really struggling. And
Yeah.
so we needed to peel it way back. Like, hold on. There's so many things that you can do. It's possible. I had a parent who I was talking to earlier this week.
Mm,
He was really struggling with his son. His son's about 9. He's um, just coming into themselves. That's about the age where they're just trying to test things, like test things like, I'm going to use my man voice now. All right. And so he got up, and this morning he decided that he didn't care about anybody. At least that was dad's perception. Right.
mhm.
So sits down at the table and he's like, get me some milk. And his dad's like, whoa, you can either ask better or you can get it yourself. And his son went, rah. And he went, rah. And he went, he's like, you're not getting any milk. And his son was like, I hate you, right? And then the mom who was she was getting her extra 15 minutes of sleep, comes out and like, what's going on? Just get him some milk. And she goes to the kitchen, she pours him the milk and she puts it down. What's wrong with you? And I was like, hold on. Can we just check in for 1 second? Why did little man wake up so upset? What happened in his sleep time? He was like, Leon, I don't have time. I was like, all that happened. And what would it hurt to say, hey, that is not exactly how we talk to a family. What's going on, buddy?
Mhm.
I'm happy to get that for you. But when you speak to me that way, it hurts my feelings. It doesn't
Mhm.
make me feel like you care about me. I don't care what is going on with that kid. We're de-escalating the situation. Now we're teaching responsiveness, right? And it
Mhm.
happens all the time because we're in a hurry. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it looks like. Like, I don't have time to deal with all of their stuff. You do.
Yeah.
It just looks different
Yeah.
than what you're doing. And I'm not, it's somewhere between gentle parents, like, you're allowed to have your feelings. Just go ahead. No, no,
Mhm.
with boundaries, with accountability, but also with vulnerability and empathy and connection. And there's a balance that's required here. Anyway, but these parents in these situations are starting their weeks on their back foot. They're starting on their back foot. They're like already like, I have so much to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be right. And so I want to invite you all people who move as fast as we do, right? I do have an electronic calendar, but I intentionally sit down with my paper planner and I write out my week, my entire week, and I color code it. The first thing that goes on my calendar are my commitments.
Mhm.
All of the appointments and everything that I have to do, that I have to do to make, money, doctor's appointments, those kinds of things. Birthdays go on there, vacations go on there. That's usually where people stop, right? That's usually where people like all your appointments are on there, your work schedule, and those things. There's more, right? Because we all have foundational things that we have to do every day. Like the dishes have to be done and dinner has to be made and somebody has to do the laundry and somebody's got to do the groceries, and at some point the floors have to be mopped and the beds have to be changed. And if you're lucky enough, you have somebody to come in to do that stuff, but you're just filling your time up with something else foundational in your life,
Mhm.
right? So we have these foundational things like what bills have to be paid what day. What do you need? When are you going to go get your nails done? Like, when are you going to get your hair cut? When are the kids going to do that? Those foundational things that make your life run.
Mhm.
Then we have to also, so that's right, first commitments. Then we write in our foundations, 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever, but we break them up throughout the week. So don't have like Saturday is house cleaning day. The next section, I hope it's okay that I'm walking through this, but I feel
Yeah.
it's so important. The next part is inner light. What will you do for yourself this week or this today? 30 minutes for your inner self, for you, just for you. For many people, it's a cup of coffee in the quiet house before the kids are up.
Mhm.
That is grounding for many people. For others who have miracle morning in their blood, they get their fitness in, they get their journaling in, they get their meditation in, and they really go all in. If they have figured this part out, how important that's more of an entrepreneurial thing. But a person who's living with these small children and they're going out into the world and trying to be world facing, this is hard. It's really, really hard. Some people have got it down, and the people who don't got it down, they don't understand how it works, right? So our goal is to put at least 30 minutes of that time on our calendar, even if we have to split it up. And lastly, and most importantly, is our connection. When are we going to plan connection? You're going to call your mom, you're going to call your best friend, you're going to go out to lunch, you're going to have dinner with your family, you're going to spend time with your children in a really intentional way. And what happens is when we color code each day, we fill out an entire week color coded, and we've spent this time handwriting it in our quiet, fully aligned selves, we can see how we're spending our time. The goal isn't to fill up our week. The goal is to see how we're spending our time. First, to
Mhm.
understand that we actually can do it all and it's going to be okay. Also, we see what's on our plate. So when a bomb gets dropped on the week, we know what is on it and how to recalibrate. And this one weekly practice, 1 hour of intentionally writing down this formula for yourself, whatever your life looks like, is an incredible offload of mental load. I've got time for this. I've got it all planned out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And as we get better and better at this, we start reflecting on our weeks and we start seeing where the things are. And so that we can do that deep, we can see that there's time for the deep work. But this is the first step, is understanding that you do got it.
Yep.
I'm not overwhelmed. I've got it. And so for me, the world's moving faster. I've got a laptop, an iPad, a PC, and 2 phones in front of me. I've got a smartwatch on my arm. We're moving so fast and we are so connected that we have to. I do believe we have to create space where we are pulling it down and becoming very quiet and intentional, or we'll get sucked up in it. We don't have time. We don't even have the bandwidth to understand that we're not aligned.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I want to ask you, because it's a powerful tool that you gave right now. And the one thing that it always hits is why? Why is it so important? So I want to ask you, when you did start using these tools and using them effectively, what was that one thing where you're like, oh my goodness, this is why?
Yeah. Yeah. Waking up or going to bed Sunday night after having my week all set
Hmm.
with no stress. I didn't have Sunday scaries anymore. Like, no stress. I woke up Monday morning, know exactly what I was going to do. And if my dogs wouldn't go for their walk or something was off, that's okay, because I had the ability to create the shift because I already knew I have it. I have time for it. And
Yeah.
for me, that was the biggest thing. Like, oh, I really can do all of this. There's so much going on this week. I can adjust it. I can see it. And having the color coding really helps. You also see, it helps me. And so I always invite people, like, just do the color coding, right? Um each of the quadrants in different color, so you can see where you're really spending your time. And so
Yeah.
it's just a visual emotion. It actually hits you in a physical, spiritual space. Like, I've planned my life. I'm owning my time.
Yeah.
That feels really good.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
When I got into entrepreneurship, it felt like I was on the top of a mountain that was going straight down every Sunday. And on Monday, I would just start running down the mountain as fast as I could. And
And
after a
like
while, I was like,
skipping,
oh my
stubbing your
goodness.
toe,
I was
it's
like,
a lot.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Low stress.
Um,
Like, the freedom that supplies, not only for like the parents, the mom, the dad, and the kids, and everybody else. So those blow ups, just give me some milk. Like, I'm good. I can take it in
Yeah.
without like,
Yeah, without it being like about like I would never speak to my parents that way. No, but also he just did. So what's going on with him?
yeah.
Like what's up? You know, instead of our usually when we're exploding, I mean, and I know you know this, usually when we're reacting really big, it's not even about this moment. It's about the, oh my God. It's about something else. And
Yeah.
if we can respond to this moment, we'll actually teach them. Um, we'll teach them how to be that person who is a decision maker. I was may I share a quick story about I have had this mom. There's this mom that I've been working with, and she's got this gorgeous, gorgeous boy. She's a single mom, and um, in the Black community, I'm sure you understand, we're actually raised differently. It's just a cultural thing, you know. Boy, don't you open your mouth. You speak to your elders. I have a Medea. She turned 100 yesterday.
Ooh,
So
happy birthday to her.
so yes, incredible. Um, so we don't speak up to our elders. We yes ma'am, yes sir. We respond without questioning. And while that's how we were raised, and that worked a few generations ago, but we never really broke that cycle. And what happens is it doesn't really work now because we need to be decision makers. We need to be decisive and we need to be confident, but we're not training our children to be that way if we're continuing that cycle,
Mhm.
right? And it's not our parents' fault or our grandparents. It's just what happened. But now that we know that this doesn't work, we know we have to make a shift.
Mhm.
So if we're telling our children, do what I say, not as I do, if we're telling our children
Yeah.
to just be quiet and do this, or you're in punishment, or we're sending them away and we're exposing them to our big reactivity about what's the political field or the rudeness on the road or road rage or whatever is happening, or we're sharing these really big reactive stories about what's happening in our lives instead of sharing how we're going to respond to them. Our children are not going to be good, confident decision makers. They are not going to be able to navigate really big stress without exploding because that's what they know. They don't know how to do anything different. So this young man, what he was experiencing was she let me know he's getting in trouble all the time. She's yelling all the time. He's always in punishment. Now he's talking back or he's always angry. Home is always angry. And so she shared this scenario where he goes to school, he's disruptive in class, talking back to the teacher, laughing with the wrong kids, right? Laughing and hanging with the wrong children. And so he's in the principal's office or he's being sent home almost every day. She's getting these calls, and now it's impacting her work, right? This
Mhm.
beautiful little family, right? And she just wants the best for her son, but she's so scared. She goes, "This is how gang stuff happens." I'm like, "You are getting, he's 9. He's 9, right?" And so I said, "Okay, let's take a big step backwards, right?" So he's in trouble already. He hasn't done his homework. He hasn't done all the things that he needs to do. And you're sending him off to school stress, right?
Mhm.
And he goes to school and the teacher's like, "Where's your homework?" And like, "Oh, now you're in punishment, more punishment." Right. And
Mhm.
so then he goes out on the playground and he's talking to those kids, "That stupid teacher, blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Yeah, that stupid teacher was only validation that he's getting." Right.
Mhm.
And so now he's like acting out because he really, really wants somebody to validate him, right? Because I mean, it feels good. So now he's in bigger trouble because now he's made all kinds of mess out there, right? all kinds of mess out on the playground. He is acting out. He is not doing the right thing. He doesn't really have structure. And now she's getting calls, right? She's have my son call me as soon as he gets school ends, right? So he calls her and she's like, "You're in so much punishment," right? Meanwhile, she's getting in trouble at work, right? She's getting in trouble. People are like, "You're not supposed to be taking these calls. You're having to leave early to go get your son. What's actually happening?" So now this is impacting her financially. I know you this story happens thousands and thousands of times over. But it doesn't only happen with the single mom. It happens all the time. So now he's in punishment. So he comes home and he's on punishment. He's being punished. He's being, he can't play his video games. He can't do this. He can't do that. Whatever the thing is. And they're fighting. And I said, look at your son for a second. Start in the morning when he wakes up. You better go do this, right? And I said, where is his peace? Who's on his side? Them little knuckleheads. Those are the ones on his side. So he's going to gravitate towards that. What if we did something different? What if you set boundaries and accountability and you met him where he is? Hey, what's going on? What is actually happening? How can I help you? Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight. We all know that. I've been there. I got 4 boys. I know. However, they need to know that when they walk through the door in this home, they are home, they belong, they are loved, and they are being held accountable with boundaries and love and empathy and connection. And if we get better at that, all of that falls away. So follow up, I met with them yesterday. I nearly cried. I didn't cry in front of them. I really wanted to. But he has not gotten in trouble in a month in school. He's been doing his homework. And there are less battles at home. And everybody is happier because she's meeting him where he is. And that's all it takes. She's being responsive instead of reactive to the situations. And just that tiny thing, it does take time. There are habits that have to break, but we have to break them inside of ourselves in order for our children to know that they have other choices and options, because we're responsible for raising people who are decision makers with confidence, choices. You can do this or you can do that.
I love it. Yeah, I love that. And Leonne, well, I want to say thank you. I appreciate your time and your energy. And what's the best way people can get a hold of you? And also, what would you like to leave the audience with?
So I want to, first of all, the best way to reach me best way to get started, just simply is go to thewondermama.com, the website. Wonder Mama, M-A-M-A. It's all word, thewondermama.com. I always want to say it like that because we can spell it different ways. And I want to leave everybody with just start where you are. Don't try to fix everything all at once, and be gentle with yourself. Because once you start noticing, you can start responding. And if you're interested in coming in and starting to do some of this foundational work, I have a private community. You can connect with me directly through my website. I have a private community where we do this work. We meet every single Sunday. Yep. Some holidays off, but usually every single Sunday, and we sit down together and we intentionally plan out our time. And I would love to invite you in. You, entrepreneur, you, parent, you, mother. Yes, you. Because we need to be quiet in order to make the changes we need to make.
I love it. Awesome. Well, Leonne, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for listening, and have an amazing, amazing day. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
100%. Take care, champ. Have a great one.